Well, hello friends, and welcome to March. This video is going to be just a quick tour of my March garden. It was not anticipated that I'd be able to make this video right now. If you've been following along, I was probably going to be induced at 37 weeks. I am currently 38 weeks pregnant and I will actually start the induction process tomorrow. So I figured today is absolutely beautiful, so I wanted to show you around. Not much has changed aside from just what the garden looks like in March versus February, which is quite gorgeous right now because spring has definitely shown its colors here. As you can see, there's a lot going on in the trees behind me, and so I wanted to just give you a really quick tour. I don't know when I'll edit this because yeah, she's coming out in the next day or two most likely, so but I wanted to get it recorded because I probably won't be out here recording again in March. I have not really put anything new in, but I did buy a handful of, it's right behind you, that's why I keep looking back there. I bought a handful of things to get stuff started. So I bought some fertilizer, I bought some seed starting mix, and I already have a ton of seeds, and so I may start some seeds this year. If I don't, I will buy transplants because I'm certainly going to put some stuff back here. I actually really want to get some pumpkins in this hill because if I am not going to be able to utilize all of my space, pumpkins take up plenty of space and are a little more low maintenance than some of the things I typically grow. So let's just see what is actually growing right now. So for simplicity's sake, I'm going to start over here with the strawberry bed, which is officially just a strawberry bed now. I've pulled all of those onions that were growing in here before, and I still need to clean up the strawberries themselves because, as you can see, they could use a little bit of TLC in here, but I am growing strawberries. I keep missing them every once in a while, so there's one that's half eaten, but you can see a bunch of new strawberries popping up everywhere, so I'm excited to be snacking on those in the coming weeks. The garlic bed also looks great. I pulled the flowers on the two sides. We had a few heavy rains, which is also why that looks like that. We had a few heavy rains, and they started to get pretty yucky looking, so I went ahead and pulled them, but the garlic did well in the rain. There were more flowers here I pulled. These are the snapdragons. I don't know why they decided to come up and over like this, but I still love them. They're still one of my favorite flowers, and this has all been cleaned out except for the basil, which is obviously not edible, but the bees are still enjoying it, so I haven't fully pulled it back. It's just a big mess. Back here we have the pepper plant that I have not pruned yet. The pineapple, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get rid of this pineapple. I don't think it's going to do anything this year, and I think we have a pineapple that is going to grow this year. And as you can see, the soil level has dropped so low in this container. I don't think it's going to do anything. So if I can, I will just yank it out. This cilantro bolted, so we're not worried about that anymore. I just let it stay because originally I let it stay because I was letting the bees have it. But now, if you look closely, there's actually some coriander on there, so I'm debating on harvesting some of that. Oh, I did actually plant potatoes in here the other day, and so we might get some potatoes there. I just had some organic potatoes that had started to go to seed in my cupboard, and so I went ahead and put them here. Over here we have a bunch of self-seeded nasturtium, and then I've got some carrots in the back there, some more cilantro that's gone to seed, and you can see the snapdragon right there too. And that's our little overwintered jalapeno, still doing okay. The lime tree does this every year, so I try not to get too excited, but loads and loads and loads of blossoms. But we'll see what happens with that because every year the Santa Ana winds hit and I don't get any. Oh, look, and I don't know if you saw that, but ladybugs have been loving this. So for example, here's a little lime. I don't have much hope that it's going to stay on because the winds tend to knock them all off this plant for some reason, just timing wise. This is the mandarin. You can still see some flower buds getting started, and then these are the two pineapples I was talking about that might start flowering this year. I don't know, it's kind of hard to see, but I'll give it a couple of weeks and see what happens with those. Coming over to this side of the hill, there's pretty much nothing going on here except for I did weed quite a bit. But if you weren't here for the February tour, you probably can't tell. These are just some 2 flowers that have, I guess, perennialized. I cannot remember the variety. I'm sure this is a very common flower out here in Southern California, so people would know if these are perennials out here, but in my backyard they certainly are, because everywhere I planted them, they're still there. This is the lemon tree. I don't know if you can see that, but it is loaded to the brim with blossoms, and then there are 3, I think, lemons on it, and that's the Caracara orange. It is also loaded with blossoms, and I had my husband pick all the oranges off of that, and they were delicious. I forgot to get footage. And then a couple of like random carrots that managed to make it over the winter that I forgot I had planted here. And then the gorgeous peach trees. So this is the Eva's Pride, and it flowers the earliest of all my trees and puts out fruit the earliest too, so that's why it's got the leaves already. The August Pride next to it is well, obviously those come in August, and so the leaves haven't started quite yet as much as the Eva's Pride, but it's covered in flowers and I love it. I did clean up all of the tomatoes off of this. I thought they were all dead. I mean, it was very diseased, but I came out here and when I ripped it out, I probably pulled about 40 tomatoes off of it, so clearly they weren't completely dead. I did a terrible job of cleaning the tomatoes out from both sides over here, so I am expecting a couple of volunteers this year. So maybe I won't have to plant anything here, we'll see. Up at the top are the Golden Dorset on the left and the Anna apple on the right. Those are my apples. I love those trees and they are doing pretty well. Obviously you can see they're leafing out and covered with blossoms. And then down the hill a smidge is the Pluots, and they are just starting to put out the flowers and leaves as well. We get those later in the season, so it's not surprising that they're taking a little longer. And then over here, this is the garlic here. You can tell it's much thinner. It has not been getting as much light, and I probably should come in here and fertilize it, but it is looking pretty good. So pretty happy with that. I did dig up quite a bit in here because I planted just some onions in the front. And those are onions I bought, like the little onion sets, the dried ones you get from the nurseries, because that was the fastest, easiest thing for me to do. And like I said, these flowers, like everywhere I planted, they're just still there. And then last but not least are my 2 avocados. Now the one at the top actually is looking great, but this one down here, let me see if I can get up a little higher. I don't know if it's easier to see, but at the top the leaves have started to wilt. It's because we got a lot of rain back to back to back, and I do not water these. I just let the rain water them each year, and it was just too much rain because we have really terribly draining soil, and so I'm hoping, since we don't expect any rain in the next 2 weeks, that it will bounce back from that much water. So that is it for March, at least for now. I do, like I said, I have plans for things I would like to start by seed, and if not, I will go buy them. And that is basically summer squash, winter squash, pumpkins. Those are the main things that I would really like to get started. I had really good success with the Jelly Little Pumpkins last year, so I have those seeds. I have plenty of those seeds, so I plan on starting those. And I also generally have really good success with zucchini. I might pop a couple cucumbers in there as well, but I think that's all I'm going to start as far as seeds that I want to get started on my own, because those are relatively easy to get started if you have any experience with those, especially because I can, you know, I don't have to start a ton. I can start just like 5 of each, and I can get those. I have a grow light system set up in my house, and a heat mat. My problem is watering. I'm worried I'm going to kill them because if I'm not going to be able to devote my time and attention to them, they may not survive. So we'll just see what we can get done. Oh, and I definitely want basil. I want more basil this year too, because obviously all my basil went to seed. So anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me through the weird schedule of what's going on in my garden. And if you have any advice for gardening with a newborn, I'd appreciate it. I basically let almost everything go when I had my first daughter in 2021, and I'm really hoping to not let that happen again this year. the garden helps, like, is so good for my mental health that I want to keep it up. I want to maintain it, even if it's at a minimal level. And I just thank God for these trees because no matter what, they will be producing for me. So I'm really excited for the fruit I'm going to get off of those. So it's starting to get really windy. I hope you can hear me. I just want to say thank you again, and I will maybe make another video this month, but more likely I will see you in April. All right, bye friends.